guys, what's going on? It's Jay the Reporter coming at you once again. And this is going to be week 2's against the spread. Now, if you didn't catch week 1, I did okay. In my opinion, I did okay. Finished that one 6-8-1. Teams that are currently made me mad, let's see who they would be. How about the Tennessee Titans? Because they only won by 2. It took 3 to cover. How about the Philadelphia Eagles, who are up 17 points and not just blew that lead, but they lost? Like, how do you do that? How do you hurt me, Philly? You hurt me. I believed in you, and you hurt me. You lost to a team without an identity. You hurt me. All right. And next one up was Miami. They gave them a touchdown. I took them, and then Miami's offense just said, so it is what it is. So came out of week 1, 6-8-1. So we're going to dive right into it, y'all. Opening up this week, I never do the Thursday games. I may start doing them. Y'all let me know in the comment section below if you want me to start doing the Thursday games. I can do a little bit more focus on that, but it'll probably be a shorter video since it is just one game. So Jacksonville, Tennessee, to open things up. Jacksonville, you're going to give them 7.5 points. I like what I saw out of the Jags last week. They look very, very impressive. Offensively, it was pretty much a shock. I didn't think they looked that good, but they did. And Tennessee didn't really look all that great offensively. Now, granted, they were playing against the Denver Broncos, a way better defensive ball club than what Jacksonville could put on the field. But you got a Jacksonville team coming off of a high of a win and also coming off like getting rid of kind of like the extras that were on that AFC title team. So they kind of have a little bit of a fun locker room thing going on for guys who play ball. You know what I mean? It's no headaches. Guys are out there, they're doing a job, they're playing with no expectations. That's kind of when you can really play your best ball. So in this one, I'm taking Jacksonville with the points. Jacksonville plus 7.5. Next game, New York Giants versus Chicago Bears. Now, Chicago Bears shocked me by actually showing up offensively and coming back and beating Detroit. Not really that impressive with the fact that they had to come back and beat Detroit, but given the fact that I think Chicago is not that good of a ball club, and I really like what I saw out of Daniel Jones on Monday night. A lot of people say, well, he threw 2 picks. He played well. He played within himself, which is what you kind of want a quarterback to do when he's learning how to play in a certain offense. And not to mention, they were competitive in this ball game with no running game. If I sat here and told you, hey, Saquon Barkley is probably going to be the most useless player on the field and New York has a chance to win, you're going to look at me and most likely call me stupid. Just being honest, you're more than likely going to call me stupid. Well, they were in that game with Pittsburgh, and I'm a Steeler fan, but I can look at it a little bit, without the rose-tinted glasses. New York played a good game, and they're actually giving New York 5.5. I'm taking New York with the points in this one. Now, Atlanta, Dallas is the next matchup. You got Dallas minus 4.5. I hung my hat on Dallas last week, and Dallas pulled a Dallas and let me down. Here's where I'm thinking this may turn. You got a whole week to kind of see, okay, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. Atlanta's known to giving up some plays, so let's kind of see how this can all perforate itself here. I'm taking Dallas against the spread. 4.5. I'm taking Dallas against the spread. If they let me down, I'm probably not going to take Dallas for the rest of the season. Next up, Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh minus 7. Now, I did say last week, typically if you give me a touchdown, I'm taking it. I don't know about this one. Denver's offense, it sputtered a bit. I don't know if their offensive line is going to be good enough to keep that attack of Pittsburgh down. And not to mention, Drew Lock has played well. In the times that we've seen him, has played well. But he also hasn't seen a defense quite like the one that the Steelers are going to hit him with. I don't think he's as good as Daniel Jones. So I'm going to wind up taking the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 7. I like how Pittsburgh came out. They found the flow to their offense. If this team can score between 25 and 30, I believe they got a chance to cover a touchdown because this Steelers defense is not giving up that many points. Point blank period is just not happening. Next up, you got Minnesota, Indianapolis. Minnesota +3. I'm going to take Minnesota in this one. Minnesota with the points. And I know people say, well, they got beat down by Green Bay last week. Well, here's the problem with the way you're probably looking at that. They got beat down, yes, but they also scored a lot of points. Indianapolis' defense is not that good. Their offensive line is pretty good, but I just do not trust Phillip Rivers no further than I can throw him. And seeing as though me and Phillip Rivers are just about the same size, he's probably not going to go that far. So that's how far my trust goes with him under center right now, given how poorly he played last week. I'm taking a offensive team that got the ball rolling, but just got it rolling a little bit too late in that ball game last week against Green Bay. I'm taking Minnesota with the points. Up next, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Shockingly, last week, Carolina played a great game. Just came up short. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, I thought it was Jameis Winston under center for him because he threw just as many interceptions as touchdowns. If I sat down there and told you that the Tampa Bay quarterback threw 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, you just had to say, oh, they kept Jameis? No, that was Tom Brady. So given the fact that that actually happened, I'm just not trusting too much of Tampa Bay right now. Coming off of a terrible loss, you really don't know how teams are going to respond. And plus, this is Tom Brady without the help of a Bill Belichick-led defense. That kind of thing matters, especially when you're not too sure of what you're going to be offensively. And also, we still don't know too much about Evans and how well he's going to be able to get out there and play. So we're going to see how well that goes. I just don't believe in it. Carolina's giving us 8 points here. So I get Teddy Two Gloves, I get Christian McCaffrey, I get that young Carolina defense. It's a little shaky, but I like how their offense can kind of counteract that. I really like how the balance of Carolina. They played really well last week. Granted, the opponents that both of them played were totally different, but if you're going to give me 8 points and you're going to give me a team that's reeling offensively, I'm going to roll with those 8 points. So I'm taking Carolina plus the 8. I got them taking that one. Even if they lose by 7, I still cover. That's what matters. Next game, Buffalo, Miami. Buffalo -5.5. This is the most complete team, possibly in the league. I had some shaky opinions about Allen coming into the season, but I really, really, really like what Buffalo did last week. So looking at how they're kind of playing it all out, I'm taking Buffalo -5.5. I just do not trust the Miami offense at all. This is not going to be the year for Miami to come out and win 7, 8 games like everyone thought they were going to do. They don't have it offensively just yet. Next up, San Francisco, New York Jets. You're talking about 2 teams playing with literal mash units. You have the Jets that have no offensive pieces, but you have the 49ers who are missing an entire secondary. I'm not 100% sure exactly which way this one's going to go. They're giving the Jets 7 points. I just don't trust the Jets. I trust San Francisco just way more offensively. In a matchup like this, I'm going with a team with the better quarterback. San Francisco has that by a mile. I'm taking San Francisco against the spread. It was a touchdown. Typically, I lean towards if you give it to me. I just don't trust it. So I'm going San Francisco with that one. Now, next game. The Rams and Eagles. It's one of those weird spreads where it's 1.5. So you know whoever wins the game, more than likely you'll cover with it. So in this one, you're pretty much picking a winner. And it's a scary pick. I don't trust my pick. But they showed enough early. They just fell apart late. Take the Eagles -1.5. And I feel the same way right now about the Eagles that I feel about the Dallas Cowboys. If you let me down here, I'm going to be very, very, very hesitant against picking you again. Detroit, Green Bay, next up on the docket. Green Bay -6.5. In this matchup, over the years, it's been closer. There's been a lot of Hail Marys and things of that nature, but this isn't those Detroit Lions. Those Detroit Lions had outstanding defenses. This is not that Detroit team. I'm sorry, Lions fans, and I know a lot of y'all actually. Shockingly enough, I know a lot of Detroit Lions fans personally. I just don't think this is the perfect matchup. If you're looking to put money on your team, I would not take that one. Not this week. You got Green Bay -6.5. I'm going Green Bay against the spread simply because they dropped over 40 points last week, and I just don't think that Detroit can score with Green Bay. Next up, Arizona, Washington. I believe last week's Washington team, that was definitely a flash in the pan performance in my eyes. I don't see that being a consistent thing. Because if you go down 17-0 to this Arizona Cardinal team, you will not come back. Because one thing they had that Philly didn't was weapons. And they got weapons. They can run with the football. They can definitely throw it with D-Hop out there. So I'm taking Arizona -7. Yes, Arizona against the spread. I didn't believe in them too much. If you go back and watch my divisional videos when I was doing the predictions per division, I didn't really believe in Arizona too much because I really don't put a lot of faith or a lot of stock into a second-year QB because now defenses have film on you. They know what you can and can't do, and they're going to definitely try to keep that away from you. But while saying that, I just don't believe Washington can do that with Kyler Murray, so definitely rolling with Arizona against the spread. And now we're coming into the harder games to pick. Baltimore, Houston. Baltimore -7.5, and it hurts me to actually do this, but I'm taking Baltimore against the spread. I really didn't believe in this team coming out, and I'm talking Houston. I didn't really believe in them too much coming out. They kind of laid an egg on last Thursday. They had 11 days to prepare for this game. Now, typically when you give teams 11 days to prepare, you can almost trust that they're going to come out and play a way better ball game. But you also got to take a look at who the hell is doing that adjustment, and the adjustments are being made by Bill O'Brien, the same man who was dumb enough to get rid of D-Hop and then just basically fill his wide receiver core with a bunch of guys who never stay healthy. So congratulations. I don't trust a guy who can't plan for the future. He definitely shouldn't be able to plan too well in 11 days for a game against a team that should be able to run him right off the field. So it's just two bad matchups off the rip for Houston. Baltimore against the spread -7.5. Now you got Kansas City, LA Chargers. If you took LA +8.5, I got a boat to sell you in Idaho. It's just a terrible investment. It's a terrible investment. Why would you take that deal? I'm taking KC against the spread all season until they give me a reason not to. Same thing with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm probably going to take them against the spread until I have a reason not to. So KC against the spread, just going to move on. We all kind of know that offense is free real estate. They're just moving it up and down the field. The hardest game for me to pick this week was this one. New England, Seattle. Now, if anyone knows how to play and beat Russell Wilson, it is Cam Newton. He knows how to beat Seattle's defense. Doesn't matter who you have out there, who's the next guy up, doesn't matter. He knows how to get it done. I'm looking at New England's defense against that Seattle offense, and it was a tough one for me, but I really, really love Seattle's weapons. Between Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, it's just a lot of size, a lot of great route running. Then you got the stable of running backs. If I have a running game in Seattle again, I'm really just loving how they kind of built all that up. I'm loving how that's all kind of turned itself. And in this one, I'm actually taking Seattle against the spread. Yeah, this week I'm taking a lot more against the spread than I did last week, but I'm going with it. Seattle against the spread. The spread was 4, so Seattle -4, I'm taking that. And next up is pretty much a snooze fest in my eyes. I just believe that New Orleans is going to just beat the dog snot out of Las Vegas. So basically, these teams were swapping opponents. You had New Orleans versus Las Vegas this week, Carolina versus Tampa. So they just basically said, hey, I'll trade you an L for an L on this one. So I got New Orleans, 5.5-point favorites. I'm rolling with it. So that's New Orleans -5.5. I'm taking New Orleans against the spread. But guys, let me know what you think about these picks down in the comment section below. Also, do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. My name is Jay the Reporter, signing out. Peace.